I think we're live. I think
Yeah.
so. I think it might take a second. Hi, everyone. It's Tracy here on Friday. This is my first Friday broadcast, and I'll be going live on Fridays from now on for your personal journey with food. And we're just going to kind of watch the feeds here and make sure we are good to go. But I have a special guest today, Sara Bernadette from Arizona. Yes. And so what we wanted to say was, if you want to comment with us, we're going to do our best to watch the different screens, but there should be in the stream something that says comment with StreamYard at the top. You want to click on that, and then we can see your comments within the program. Otherwise, we're blind and swimming with no view. So with that, yes. So click in StreamYard, and then we can see your comments from no matter what feed you are on. And yeah, it is Friday the 13th, and that's a fun day.
Yeah, Friday the 13th in 2020. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm going to celebrate today as it's going to be a really great day. So
I personally love Friday the 13th, so I have a feeling it's going to be great.
I think so. So yeah, it looks like people are finding us, so that's great. And so people that don't know me yet, I'm Tracy Cromwell, and I am a coach for the confused and frustrated dieter. And I started the show because I wanted to bring on experts that those that are looking for some coaching or other areas of their life they would like to work on, that I can bring that to you. Because in my coaching, it's not just about the food. It's about career, education, finances, spirituality, joy, cooking, all of those things, education. And so today, what we're going to talk about, Sara and I think is basically honoring inner self. I'm believing that's the case. So that is so important in having a healthy relationship with you. So I'm excited to bring her on today. And Sara has something really, really important for people to know. And it's something that relates to women who are really wanting to be confident and show their true selves. But because of their weight, the opinion of others doesn't allow their inner badass to emerge. So Sara has a fantastic story, very inspiring, how she turned her life around 180 degrees, basically after divorce, after depression, a really, really hard relationship, really low confidence. And that experience left her at 500 pounds. And she was ready to give up. She was hoping for death, some kind of a scare to get her out of that. Is that a phone? I love live. You got to love live. I'm all about it. Sometimes I have a cat coming in behind me. I got the cat out the door. Anyway, but back to her.
I make no promises that my dogs won't go bonkers at some point as well.
Okay. So. That's all right. We all have lives in all real life. So anyway, she has now lost 120 pounds and counting. And, she's really turned her perspective around about the experience and rediscovered the woman who she really is. And she's letting that woman out. And so we're going to talk about that today. So anyway, Sara, hello. I wish I could hug you.
I know. Hi, Tracy. Thank you so much for having me come on out. I am super excited to be here.
Yes.
You pretty much nailed it. And honestly, I think today would have been a very different show had I not officially let my inner badass out just recently. And you were there to witness it.
I saw it live. It was great.
Yeah, she's been hiding. She hasn't been gone. She's just been not allowed to come out because I've been allowing other people's opinions of what I'm supposed to be when I'm telling my story dictate how I did that. And just recently I I unleashed her on the world. I was almost scared to death to the point that I didn't do it. I almost had a mental breakdown. I wouldn't say breakdown. I had a mental conundrum occur where I spent like 3 solid hours just bawling my eyes out, not sure what I was so damn afraid of. And finally unleashed her 2 days ago, I think it was. And it was an amazing experience and really is exciting because, like I said, this conversation would have been a little more safe, a
Yeah.
little more not authentic. And I was tired of holding that back for everyone because they need to benefit from the authentic. And that's what I want to make sure I'm giving everybody nowadays. So
I agree with you 100%. When we don't show up as our true selves and our authentic selves, it's not only harms us because we're burying things, and then that can expose itself in stress and eating disorder or whatever that could be, whatever it is, alcohol, depression. It's because we're not honoring our own selves, and we're afraid to because in the past, maybe we've been told that, we need to behave a certain way. We need to look a certain way. We can't have an opinion, all of those things. So you and I talked about this, a couple of weeks ago, that we both were, we're from different circumstances, but had the same exact kind of issues.
our opinions were told they weren't valid. And we're like, but we can kind of see that they should be. but people don't want to hear it when it makes them look bad. And in my instance, my opinions were just too loud for my ex-husband. He was bipolar. He had severe anxiety. And so being a loud and outgoing person that I was, when we met, was a lot for him. And I don't fault him for that. I can't imagine being on his side of things, feeling the way he feels with that. I know more about it now than I ever did when I first started, when our relationship first started. And my current guy, he's got anxiety as well. I have experienced anxiety, but I no longer accept that it's uncontrolled, because I believe you can bring yourself back out of it pretty easily with some awareness. And
yeah.
I've been doing a lot of work with my mindset and making sure my awareness of what's happening, I'm at least aware enough to be able to recognize it. I may not be able to stop it in the moment. So in that aspect, it does seem very uncontrolled. But with the way you're, eating, emotional eating, or whether it's just depression and you're not able to take care of yourself the way you should, or that you should be doing, acknowledging that it's happening, accepting that it is, but not beating yourself up for it, is going to make the world of difference on how it manifests itself into your life. As far as, does it create more problems for you, or does it cause you to gain weight because you're overeating, because you're just trying to stuff down the feelings? But if you just accept that they're there and acknowledge them, you don't have to hide them from anything, including yourself.
Exactly. And I think because we maybe have this perspective that that we shouldn't be feeling feelings, we shouldn't have these emotions or whatever, so we stuff them, and then they'll go bang, they come. Oh, Ellen's watching. Hi, Ellen. My dear friend Ellen.
Yeah, I know nothing about stuffing them and what happens when you do that, i.e. 2 days ago when I sat for 3 hours in my bedroom bawling uncontrollably. That could have had something to do with the fact that I'd been stuffing my true desires, because I was afraid I would offend people. And I literally, I have a journal entry that has not been written in further. It just says, now pardon my French on this, but it just says,
is it really French?
I wouldn't say so. I don't even know how to say it in French. Let's just say that. But it says, Okay, bitch, are you done fucking around? And I
Mhm.
say that to myself with the most love of like, yeah, we've been waiting for you to figure this out. Are you ready to like just be everything you've ever wanted to be? And let me tell you, that was a freeing moment to be able to go, yeah, I'm done fucking around.
When I think about it, everything that, in my coaching studies and everything I do to try and figure out the mind and the brain, how it works. And it's that ego side, the ego that wants to have the perfect persona, the one that's worried about judgment, the one that will shut you down so fast because it thinks it's protecting you. But once you can, and that's the one that causes the anxiety. That's the one. And then, I have situations too where I'll get flustered, but I literally feel my throat tight because I know I'm not speaking what I need to say, and that's how I used to spend my life, and so then the anxiety would build and build, and I started the same thing. I said, well, we are always going to feel this way unless we let our true selves out and we step out into who we really are and who we're meant to be, and then we can do the work we're meant to do here. And
Exactly.
so it's exciting, and I just, like I said, I was so happy I tripped upon your live yesterday.
I appreciate it. You were there. Like, I was like, oh, this is so exciting. This is just like perfect validation to me that I'm in the
Yeah,
right spot doing what I'm supposed to
yeah,
be doing now.
yeah.
And I spent so many years leading up to that, um, allowing her to pop out occasionally.
Mhm.
But even then, it was like, okay, yes, but you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. And I was really hindering myself.
Mhm.
And the message that I wanted to share with people was getting lost because I was putting it through 15 filters.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't put filters on my photos, but like some people do. I've seen many people where I'm like, that's not even what you look like. Like, I know the truth. You get the real me in the photos, but you're not going to get the real me as far as what I was saying. And now,
Mhm.
having unleashed that, like given myself permission to be 100% authentically myself.
So let's have people
Oh,
that are
so excited.
watching type that in the chat box. You have
Yes.
permission right now.
You have permission. Say, I accept that permission.
I accept permission to be my authentic self right now.
Yes, because that definitely will set you free.
And that can be so scary. I get it. I get it. And, one thing I've been having people, when I'm on other lives is we're like, you have permission and you are worthy to take care of yourself right now. And
Mhm.
so,
No matter
um,
where you are, too, you don't have to
yeah,
be at the end goal.
no.
I have seen so many women on a health journey that won't allow themselves to enjoy it until they reach their goal weight.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
I got, oh, I have probably 130 more pounds to go to where I'd reach my goal weight.
mm-hmm.
And that would mean that the last 5 years that it's taken me to, because I lost some weight and slowly gained it back, and then I lost it again, which, I mean, come on, is that not everybody's story on a weight loss journey? But that would mean the last 5 years where I have been enjoying the hell out of learning about myself, I would not be allowed to enjoy those last 5 years of my life. And if the process that's been happening takes the same amount of time to lose the other 120, 30 pounds that I have to lose, that means I will have wasted 10 years of my life trying to get to this end result that's not going to make me happy anyway. But if I can enjoy the journey and turn my life around every little moment I get an opportunity to, which is the whole point of my Big 180 project,
Mm-hmm.
is to recognize all the little areas that you can turn your life around in whatever the case is: health, mental health, your weight loss journey, your diet journey, any of those things related to your life, your financial journeys, your time management journey, all of that. If all of those pieces are you're waiting till you get to the end result, you're going to miss
Mm-hmm.
out on so freaking much.
And
And
that's
I
the
was doing that, and I'm
yeah,
tired of it.
that's the key. because we're so focused on that goal of whatever's on the scale, whatever pant size, and that we aren't happy in the present time. And once I was like, I am done with that. And I was a slow learner. I'm 53 for crying out loud, and I don't know how many times I beat myself up, but once I released that, and then I thought, I'm just going to take my eyes off of that, and I'm going to live like a healthy person. And I hadn't weighed myself. I hadn't done anything like that, because it always made me feel horrible. I just made it really hard for me. I was one of those that made it very difficult. But once I decided, what would I be doing if I had a healthy lifestyle that supported me, and that got my brain to start thinking, what would that be? What would that be? And then it started to provide answers versus the bludgeoning,
Why are we so hard on ourselves? If I were that hard on myself, I would be upset right now that my weight hasn't changed in 3 or 4 months. But my clothing doesn't fit the same way. I put on a sweatshirt I hadn't been able to wear 3 or 4 months ago that now fits, even though the scale hasn't changed one bit.
Yes.
If I focused on that, I would miss out on the fact that I'm still changing physically. It's just moving around. It doesn't have to go away.
Yeah.
Move. As long as things don't go further south, I'm okay with that. Like, let's keep them up here, girls, and we'll be fine.
And I think too, on that journey, though, maybe your weight had paused. That's okay. But what happened with you yesterday was so incredible that,
I'd have missed that if I was focused on the end journey.
Yeah. So you can have my thought is we have our goal, what we would like for our life and where we would like to be. And is it, what, like you said, finances, career, relationships, joy, the body, whatever that is. And we know where that is. But if we take the how do I want to say it, the rigidness off of it, the ego off of it, and we let ourselves just step into it and learn and enjoy the learning process, it's great.
You'll figure out that it's already there most of the time.
I know, but it's
yeah, you can look around my life, and by other people's standards, you would say, oh, it's probably not like the best. But if you look at it through my eyes right now, I'm like, this is so good.
Yep. And let's talk about
that.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because again, our society is very judgmental.
Yes.
And so when we look at other people, we decide we're going to put a label on them, and based on whatever actual perception we may have had about how we actually feel about ourselves. So, but if we choose, like, you're not judging yourself, you're happy to learn. What if we turn that as well out to the universe, that let's take judgment away, because you could have a very thin person that you're jealous of, that you really wish you had their life, but you don't know what's going on inside their life. You don't know what's going on in their body. Maybe they are so stressed they cannot eat. Maybe they're, we just don't know. And so if we take that physical judgment out of the picture and allow ourselves to just say, hey, we don't know their story. We don't. And we just need to keep ourselves, loving on ourselves,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, from two sides of the coin here for me, as I am a big woman, I have been big my entire life, and I've been judged because of that. And I've allowed all of those judgments about what I'm supposed to be as a woman, as, as just a human being. And I've allowed those judgments that other people go, well, you're too big to be able to do that. You're too big to be confident in yourself. You're too big to think that you can do anything like a normal person, because you're far too big for that. I had my ex-brother-in-law, actually, he said something that was actually kind of profound that I don't think he realized how profound to me it was. But he said, I cannot wait to see what you can accomplish when you've lost all your weight, because what you do now at the size you are, and this was me at my biggest, he goes, it blows my mind, because I can't imagine doing what you do. And at that point, I was still able to allow myself to be bigger than the world told me I was allowed to be. But then, even knowing that with what he said, I still, after the divorce, after we hadn't been together, my ex-husband and I hadn't been together for so long, I was still allowing his opinion to control the way I behaved in the world. And part of that may have been because I still had connections to that past life, but they were people that I care about. They're people that I don't want to lose as people that I can support and pour love on, just because it didn't work out between the two of us. But I was still like, but I can't be my real self, because what if then they get offended? And now I'm like, nah, if you are offended by me being my true self, then I don't need that kind of negativity in my life, as they say. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, and we think about it too, again, if we don't show up as ourselves, then like we keep putting these masks on, but we think people want us to be, it's hard on us and on them. But whereas if we are just who we are and we're our real selves, the right people come into our lives, the right support comes, the stuff that makes our tribe wonderful. And so for me, it was like putting my toe in the fire at first as myself, and then I jump back in, and then I come out a little bit, and then finally I'm like, screw it,
Right.
Yeah, it was like, so what is this 180 project? Let's tell everybody.
So the Big 180 project started out several years ago, before my ex and I had even gotten married. I wanted to just get healthy and blog about it. And I wanted it to be something that we did together to try to help motivate him to get healthy as well. And he never got on board. So I just kind of shoved it aside, thinking, well, if he's not interested, then maybe I don't want to do it, allowing his opinion to control my actions. And after our divorce, I brought it back around, but I brought it back around as a way to promote the supplements that I had started with that really helped get me under control. Mainly because at nearly 500 pounds, I was 487.6 pounds. I could not walk without being in severe lower back pain. I would be completely winded to the level of going into like an asthma attack, just walking from my car to the front door of my apartment, from walking from my bedroom to the bathroom to get into the shower. My depression took over pretty hardcore. Prior to our marriage, I had lost my younger brother to drugs. I had a relationship failure with my parents because I was upset with them. And I got to a point where I was at the absolute lowest I'd ever been. I was waiting for a doctor to tell me, hey, you need to do something about your weight or you're going to die. Except I didn't go to the doctor, so he couldn't tell me that. And it got to a point where I said, I don't want to die because I have some big plans. And if this guy doesn't want to go with me on it, then I will find somebody else. And didn't realize that someone else was myself. Now, I have a great guy now, and we are living an adventure. We live completely off grid on 20 acres in northern Arizona. We are, living a lower debt life than we were prior. We're not completely debt free, but working on it. But we're following our dreams and our passions, which was exactly what I've always wanted to do, but was too scared to do it. And it's been a slow process. I started with selling the supplements, and the supplements helped me get control of the emotional eating, of the uncontrolled carb cravings. I will fight you for a breadstick. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't try to take them from me. There's a reason I don't do strict diets. And I don't do workouts very well either, because I just couldn't physically when I started. Those supplements got me into a place where I could, and it allowed the noise, if you will, of the pain my body was in to be turned down a little, and turned down to the point where the volume was here and now it's here, the 180, if you will, there. And that 180 keeps repeating in so many aspects, like things that I do now that I would never have done 5 years ago because I couldn't. And my mindset was just like, no, it's not possible. Now I'm like, I'm excited to see what I can try to do. And that's been the growth of the new 180 part of this, is that now it's not just about my like pain being turned down for me. It's been my mindset being turned completely about faced. And I'm like, I can see this from a whole different perspective now. That
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to live my life. I'm excited to see what, foods, how they work with my body. I'm excited to see what physical things I could do that I couldn't do before. And that shift in my mindset, excuse me, has been the biggest thing. And that's what I'm now showing others how to do
That's great.
through the Big 180 project and my 180 Your Life, Get Healthy at Any Size. Like, it doesn't matter how big you are or even how small you are. If you have a good mindset about the journey you're about to go on, you will turn everything around 180 degrees.
Yeah.
You don't need to be physically fit 100% to have turned your life around. You don't need to be at your end goal to turn your life around. You don't need to be following the newest, fattest, whatever diets out there that everyone's telling you have to do. I have lost 120 pounds and I haven't done a single diet at all.
Yes, I love that. And maybe you learn from reading about them, but like what you just said was finding out what fuels your body best so it can perform the best. The other thing I loved you said, because it was so important, and it was something that I used to bludgeon myself with exercise and in a punishment way, to demand from my body. But now it's like exactly what you said. We are in the same mindset, which people listen up.
That's the reason we connected on it, for sure.
How exciting is it to see what your body can do when given the opportunity, and what can it do? Like, what can you achieve? What can you learn about your body today? And it makes it like kind of fun,
so exciting
game.
Fun. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So how
every day is exciting now.
It is. How I know you wanted to offer something, right? Or you wanted to make sure you knew how to tell people where to find you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I am at the Big 180 Project on most places. If it's not with the word project at the end, it's just the Big 180. My website is thebig180.com. So there's a lot of good stuff there. I'm actually launching a 5-day workshop just in time for Thanksgiving. It's 5 days, only $97. It's called Unstuff Yourself, The Secret to Dieting During the Holidays. And I basically am showing you in 5 days, right up before Thanksgiving, so you can put it right into practice, how to turn your mindset around about your diet, whether you're following one or you're not, but how to break the rules of what is supposed to be okay during the holidays and allowing yourself to just enjoy the heck out of it. Because when you do that, you don't overeat. You don't binge yourself into oblivion. You don't lose control over the mashed potatoes, as I say, because that's where my weakness is. Like I said, I'll fight you for breadsticks. Carbs are my thing. And
into that bowl and you're going to swim.
Exactly. Every year in the past for Thanksgiving, I would start out with one plate and be like, okay, that's all I'm going to have. And then I'm like, well, those mashed potatoes are calling me. And so I end up with 2 plates worth, and then I do it all over again at dessert. And now last year was like so different because I was eating all the things that I enjoyed, and I was enjoying the heck out of everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to overeat because I allowed myself to enjoy it instead of being like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this. I shouldn't be eating this. I really shouldn't be eating this as I'm on my 3rd helping. Yeah. I could eat 3 helpings, but I wouldn't because I was enjoying the first one so much. I was like, no, I'm now satisfied. So I show everybody how to do that in this 5-day workshop. And really, it's beyond just dieting during the holidays. I know that. I know that these 5 days are going to shift everything for you for all of your dieting. But I figured it was a great thing to start out with for me, since I've, officially become a coach now versus what I was doing before, which was pseudo coaching, I called it. Now that I've officially embraced my role of, I want to help others in the boat that I was in, where they're like, I have no control. I have no idea how to stop this. And I'm supposed to be this way. And I'm like, girl, no, you don't have to do any of those things. Do what makes you feel good. And that's what I teach people now.
I love it. So those are watching. If you resonate with Sara, go find her Facebook page, follow her. I know there's got to be a lot of people that are going to resonate with your message. It's already won.
I know. I was like, man, that went by fast.
It goes by so fast. But yeah, so sadly we must go. But if you could put in the comment feeds, and I'll try and do the same. I know we've posted this in several places about how to find you, but and also how to follow you if you're interested in any of what Sara's got going on. And it's an honor to know you, my dear. So happy.
It has been such a pleasure getting to know you, and I am so happy that we've become friends now. And I'm enjoying this so much that I'm going to savor it because I love it so much. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Savor every minute, every second.
Exactly.
And sadly, I have to disconnect.
Oh. All righty. Well, thank you so much. Bye-bye.